Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we explore the fascinating world of corporate filings and unearth some really interesting surprises as we dive into today's report. Because let me tell you, this one has a bit of a drama unfolding regarding its stock market status. Today we're peeling back the layers of a current report from Artelo Biosciences, Incorporated, also known by its ticker symbol ARTL. This filing is all about a notice regarding their listing status on the Nasdaq stock market. It's not exactly a glowing financial report, but it certainly tells a story about the company's efforts to stay afloat and compliant. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you appreciate getting direct insights from these dense corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can chat with fellow analysts. So what is the situation with Artelo Biosciences Incorporated? Well, they're facing some challenges with the Nasdaq. The main issue stems from not holding their annual meeting of stockholders on time. Nasdaq has rules about this and Artelo missed the deadline. This isn't a minor hiccup, it could potentially lead to their stock being delisted. The biggest problem started back on the 31st of December of last year when Artelo's 2025 annual meeting of stockholders couldn't even get started because there weren't enough shareholders present to make it official. They tried to postpone it to the 30th of January of this year, giving everyone more time to cast their votes. This was for a few important proposals, including ratifying their independent auditor Malone Bailey LLP for the fiscal year ending the 31st of December 2026. Scroll the listing qualifications department. The staff of the Nasdaq stock market, Nasdaq Center on the 12th of January Artelo, officially told the Nasdaq staff that the annual meeting was adjourned. Then on the 14th of January, they got a letter from Nasdaq, the Nasdaq notice. This notice basically said Artelo is not following Nasdaq listing rule 5620 subsection A. This rule is pretty straightforward. It says companies must hold their shareholder meetings no later than 1 year after their fiscal year ends. And because they missed this, Artelo is currently not meeting that requirement. Nasdaq pointed out that this failure to meet the annual meeting rule could be another reason for them to consider delisting Artelo's stock. Now, Artelo knew this was coming and they even brought it up during a hearing with the Nasdaq hearing panel. This hearing was originally about a different issue, a concern that Artelo had less than $2.5 million in minimum stockholders' equity, which would violate listing rule 5550 subsection B number 1. So they're juggling two potential compliance issues and trying to convince the panel they can fix both. Now here is the good news. The Nasdaq notice doesn't mean their stock is immediately being kicked off the exchange. It will still be listed and traded on Nasdaq. However, the final decision is still up in the air and depends on how the hearing process plays out and if the panel decides to grant them any extra time. Artelo is saying they will do everything they can to get back into compliance with Nasdaq's rules and stay listed. But they also admit there is no guarantee they'll be successful with all their listing requirements or that their appeal about the equity rule issue will go their way. This is a company that is really in a fight to stay listed. Looking at the people behind this report, we see Gregory D. Gorgas, the president and chief executive officer, signing off on the 16th of January 2026. This filing is pretty much just relaying the communication from Nasdaq and Artelo's response and plan. There are no financial tables here to analyze directly because the core of this report is about a procedural compliance issue, not a financial performance update from the past quarter. So what is my take on all this? Artelo Biosciences appears to be in a precarious position with Nasdaq. The fact that they couldn't even get a quorum for their annual meeting is concerning. It suggests a potential lack of engagement from their shareholders or perhaps a disconnect between the company and its owners. This, along with the equity issue, means they are facing significant hurdles to remain listed. The biggest risk here is clearly delisting, which would make it much harder for investors to trade their shares and for the company to raise capital. On the other hand, the company is actively addressing the issues and presenting plans to Nasdaq. They are acknowledging the deficiencies and working with the exchange. The opportunity lies in them successfully navigating these challenges and regaining compliance, but the path is far from guaranteed. We need to see if their plans for the annual meeting and their equity situation will be enough to satisfy Nasdaq. In conclusion, Artelo Biosciences is in a battle for its stock market life. They need to quickly resolve their compliance issues with Nasdaq to avoid delisting. Investors should be aware of the significant uncertainty surrounding the company's continued listing. Alright, that is our breakdown of Artelo Biosciences' latest corporate update. What is your take on these compliance issues and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives, and remember to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.